This will be something you shouldn't overlook if your daily meals still include braised pork, sausage, or occasionally a few slices of pan-fried bacon. Delicious, easy to eat, convenient, but few people know that those familiar pieces of meat can be the hidden enemy, causing high blood pressure, stroke, or even gradually weakening the body over time. In fact, there are types of meat where just 50 grams a day is enough to increase the risk of bowel cancer by nearly 20%. And conversely, there are also types of meat, if eaten correctly, that help muscle recovery, reduce low-grade inflammation, and naturally stabilize blood pressure. In other words, the issue isn't about eating meat or not. It's about what kind of meat you're eating. Today's video will help you answer a seemingly simple question that many people misunderstand. What meat should older adults eat, and what meat should they avoid to live a long and healthy life? Together we will explore 3 types of meat to absolutely avoid, because just a small amount daily is enough to silently raise blood pressure, damage blood vessels, and even increase the risk of cancer according to the World Health Organization, WHO. And then 3 types of meat that should be regularly included in the diet, because they not only provide high-quality protein, but also help people over 60 protect their muscles, fight inflammation, and restore overall health. The special thing is, many people still confuse seemingly good meat with truly good meat. Therefore, I will guide you step by step in the order of the 3 worst meats to avoid, and then explore the 3 best meats ranked in reverse order so you can easily remember and apply them immediately after the video. Let's continue, because every piece of meat you choose today can be a step forward or a long-lasting mistake. And especially, you will be very surprised by the meat ranked second on the list of things to avoid most, a type that many people still believe is good for their health. But the truth is not at all like what we often think. Did you know that it's not just eating a lot of meat that's harmful, but eating the wrong kind of meat the wrong way for many years that's the serious problem? According to research from the World Health Organization, WHO, the American Heart Association, AHA, and Harvard Health, there are 3 types of meat that people over 60 should especially steer clear of, because they increase the risk of stroke, high blood pressure, dyslipidemia, and even colorectal cancer. We'll start with the most familiar type, but one that requires great caution. So, the first meat you shouldn't eat: processed meat, smoked sausage, ham. When you think of bacon, smoked ham, or flavorful slices of cured meat, you probably immediately think of fragrant American breakfasts or warm family gatherings. They seem delicious and traditional, both convenient and easy to eat. However, hidden beneath that appealing exterior is a problem that not everyone sees, especially when you've passed the age of 60. It's not just about eating salty or cholesterol anymore. It's a silent attack from salt and toxic compounds produced during processing. The most concerning thing about smoked meats, hams, and cured meats lies in what gives them their rich flavor: the excessively high salt content. According to research published on PubMed Central, just 100 grams of these meats, that's about a few moderate slices, can contain 1,000 to 2,000 milligrams of sodium. This number almost reaches the maximum amount of salt an older adult should consume in an entire day, and sometimes even exceeds it. Do you know what happens when too much sodium accumulates? The body retains water. Blood is squeezed tighter within the blood vessels. Blood pressure increases, blood pressure spikes, the heart has to work too hard, causes leg swelling, heart fatigue, and increases the risk of sudden stroke. These things make muscles easily fatigued, slightly cramped, and more importantly, affect the ability to absorb potassium and magnesium, 2 minerals essential for normal muscle contraction and relaxation. It doesn't stop there. When meat is smoked at high temperatures, it produces a group of extremely toxic substances called PAHs, polycyclic aromatic hydrocarbons. The World Health Organization, WHO, through its Cancer Research Agency, IARC, has classified PAHs as likely carcinogens, especially when accumulated in the body over a long period. The scary part is that these compounds have no smell, no taste, and still exist after you've reheated or frozen the meat. For young people, the body still has the ability to resist. But for older adults, especially those taking blood pressure medication with heart disease or diabetes, every piece of bacon can be the last straw. There are cases where blood pressure suddenly rises even while taking medication regularly, just because breakfast included a few slices of cured meat, or unexplained heart fatigue and cramps. But in reality, they start from the small amounts of salt and toxins accumulated through each light daily meal. So, is there a way to reduce toxins but still retain flavor? The answer is yes. If you love the aroma of smoked meat, look for products labeled smoked flavor, meaning the flavor is created with natural flavorings, not by directly burning wood or charcoal. In addition, boiled, steamed, or low temperature roasted meats are much safer options. And one very important thing, no matter how delicious they are, treat these foods as once in a while treats, not everyday staples. Just once a month is more than enough to satisfy your taste buds while still protecting your ability to stand, walk, and live independently for a long time. While bacon can be harmful, at least it's easy to recognize, but the item in the second position hides under a premium, luxurious appearance and is often used to treat guests. The next dish is not only more expensive, but also costly in terms of what the body has to pay. Ranked second on the list is red meat rich in saturated fat. A charred ribeye steak, rich lamb chops, or marbled beef belly, for many, that's the pinnacle of a lavish meal. It's tender, it's fatty, it makes the meal satisfying down to every fiber. Many people still believe red meat is truly nutritious, especially when the fat interspersed in the meat makes it seem to melt in your mouth. Without needing much chewing, it still feels rich, fatty, and filling. But unfortunately, that fat is what silently steals your muscle strength day by day, without noise, without warning. Science has clearly shown that red meat portions rich in saturated fat, such as ribeye, T-bone, and beef belly, increase bad cholesterol, LDL, in the blood. And when LDL is high, not only is the cardiovascular system damaged, but the process of nourishing muscle tissue is also disrupted. According to the American Heart Association, saturated fat is a key factor causing atherosclerosis, reducing blood flow to muscle bundles, and as a result, muscles have a harder time recovering after each light exercise. But what's more concerning is that saturated fat interferes even more deeply with the very ability of muscles to synthesize protein. In older adults, the body already has reduced sensitivity to insulin, the hormone that helps pave the way for protein to enter and nourish muscles. Eating a lot of saturated fat makes this situation worse. Every time you eat that fatty meat, muscle tissue is being ignored, not receiving enough signals to recover after exercise. But it doesn't stop there. When fatty meat is grilled over high heat or pan-fried thoroughly, it creates harmful compounds, which science calls AGEs and HCAs. They don't cause immediate harm, but they have the ability to accumulate, causing aging of muscle cells, making muscles weaker over the years without you even knowing it. So maybe today you can still walk normally, but next year your calves will feel tired sooner. And one day getting up from your familiar chair will no longer be as easy as it used to be. Many older adults experience this. No pain, no illness, but with each passing year, their legs weaken, their endurance decreases, and then they blame old age, while the cause lies right in their familiar meals, where a piece of fatty meat considered nourishing is silently draining what the body needs most to stand firm on its own. Red meat can be a favorite, but for muscles that need protection after age 60, sometimes, the more delicious it is, the more cautious you should be. But you know what? Not everyone regularly eats steak, lamb chops, or ribeye. What's appearing more often, creeping into the weekly, even daily, meals of older adults is fried meat, fried chicken, fried sausage, and pre-made fast food. It sounds harmless. Just a convenient meal, a tasty bite. But when these foods are repeated several times a week, they become silent inflammation causes, undermining muscle endurance and silently weakening your legs. And that is the third type of meat to avoid on today's list: fried meat, fast food. Perhaps all of us have had afternoons like this, not wanting to cook or simply feeling tired and wanting something quick, easy, and hot. A piece of pre-made fried chicken, a hamburger made in minutes, or a plate of crispy fried meat sold at the market. You might intend to buy it for your grandchildren, but sometimes you tell yourself, eating a little won't hurt. But the problem is, it's not just a little. It's a silent cycle, and the older you get, the harder it is for your body to accept that cycle. Fried meats, fast food, and pre-made convenience foods all have one thing in common. They hit the spot in terms of taste but completely disregard muscle tissue health. Few people know that the combination of saturated fat from the meat, repeatedly used frying oil, and refined carbohydrates from the batter or bun is a fire triangle that causes chronic systemic inflammation. And what's even worse is that inflammation not only tires the heart, but also gradually erodes muscle tissue, the very thing that keeps you standing upright, walking steadily, and prevents falls. Fried meats, fast food, and pre-made convenience foods all have one thing in common. They hit the spot in terms of taste, but completely disregard muscle tissue health. Few people know that the combination of saturated fat from the meat, repeatedly used frying oil, and refined carbohydrates from the batter or bun is a fire triangle that causes chronic systemic inflammation. And what's even worse is that inflammation not only tires the heart, but also gradually erodes muscle tissue, the very thing that keeps you standing upright, walking steadily, and prevents falls. You might have thought, I'm still healthy. What's the harm in a piece of fried chicken? But try to notice. After that meal, do you sometimes feel sleepy, heavy in the stomach, or more tired than usual in your limbs? That's not just due to age. It's because your body is having to process a large amount of oxidized fats, salt, and refined sugar, preventing muscle fibers from regenerating properly and even causing them to break down faster. Muscle loss doesn't come from one event. It comes from seemingly harmless habits, repeated day after day. And then one day, you'll find yourself gradually losing springiness in your thighs, standing up slower from low chairs, and having poorer balance when turning or walking quickly. That is a typical sign of sarcopenia, age-related muscle loss, and fast food, crispy fried meat, are among the hidden culprits accelerating that process. The good news is, you don't have to give up that crispy delight entirely. Just change the way you prepare it, and everything will become easier on your muscles. Instead of deep frying, you can use an air fryer or simply lightly pan fry with a little extra virgin olive oil. Boiled or steamed meat, then shredded and mixed with ginger, pepper, garlic, and a little good fish sauce, still flavorful and enjoyable, but no longer a burden on the body. Craving intense flavor? You can use herbs, black pepper, basil, turmeric, ginger, which are anti-inflammatory, and make the dish delicious while still being gentle on muscle tissue and the digestive system. You see, we don't have to give up meat, but we need to start distinguishing right from wrong, because meat isn't bad. What's bad is the type of meat we accidentally choose incorrectly, prepare incorrectly, and then consume at the wrong time. But fortunately, there are other types of meat, still delicious and nutritious, that help repair muscles, support cardiovascular health, reduce inflammation, and prolong health after age 60. And it's not far away. These are the 3 types of meat officially recommended by experts at Harvard, Mayo Clinic, and the American Heart Association, specifically for older adults, to eat well and still live healthily. We will start with the simplest, most readily available type of meat. All the way to the top of the list, a food rich in protein and omega-3s that can change your sleep, memory, and leg strength. As mentioned in the previous section, red meat has been labeled as bad and disease-causing, but if you choose the right cut, lean meat without marbling, remove the outer layer of fat, and cook it properly, then red meat is actually a valuable source of nutrition for people over 60, because it provides things that the body at this age no longer synthesizes as well as it used to: iron, zinc, and especially vitamin B12 in the most easily absorbed form. After age 60, the ability to absorb B12 and iron from plants gradually decreases. Many people eat green vegetables and take supplements but still feel tired, dizzy, and easily lightheaded when standing up. This is because the iron from plants is insufficient, and B12 is almost non-existent unless it comes from animal products. And when these micronutrients are lacking, muscle tissue isn't nourished, nerves transmit signals incorrectly, and the ability to move significantly declines. That's why many older adults often experience nighttime cramps, unsteady standing, or feel their legs give out after walking only a short distance. Not only that, lean red meat also contains a special key, a type of amino acid called leucine. Leucine is the switch that activates the muscle synthesis process after each meal. You can eat enough protein, but if leucine is lacking, the body still won't turn on the switch to rebuild muscle tissue. And then, no matter how nutritious your diet is, your muscles will continue to weaken. The problem isn't with red meat, it's with how we choose it. Not every cut of beef or pork is good for older adults. Fatty cuts, like ribeye or grilled ribs, although tender, contain high levels of saturated fat, which slows down the absorption and recovery of muscles. Instead, prioritize lean, firm cuts with minimal marbling, often labeled loin, round, or sirloin. These are cuts like tenderloin, sirloin, rump, and lean shoulder, just enough protein and easy to slice thinly, suitable for older adults. The preparation of red meat doesn't need to be complicated either. Just 2 to 3 thin slices, about 60 to 90 grams per serving, and maintaining a regular intake of 2 to 3 times per week is enough to nourish muscles without worrying about excess fat or putting pressure on digestion. The lighter the cooking method, the better. Steaming, quick pan frying, or slow cooking with vegetables, both easy to eat and preserving nutrients. Avoid direct grilling, deep frying, or excessive salting, as these methods easily create harmful compounds and diminish the true value of the food. And if you want to optimize muscle synthesis efficiency, don't forget to eat it with green vegetables, lentils, oats, or nuts rich in fiber and plant-based protein. Meals that combine animal and plant protein always yield more sustainable results for the musculoskeletal system. Lean red meat, if chosen correctly, is not just a food that supplements iron or B12, but also a source of nutrients that helps muscles recover and become more resilient with each passing week. And if you are looking for a lighter, purer, less fatty type of meat, but still extremely effective for muscle recovery and digestion, then the next type of meat will be an almost ideal choice. At a certain age, many people start to be wary of meat, not because they don't like it, but because they worry about poor digestion, bloating, increased cholesterol, or simply fear the heavy feeling after a meal. But unfortunately, when meat is completely eliminated, the body lacks the necessary protein source to repair and maintain muscle strength. The good news is, there is still a type of meat that is high in protein, low in fat, easy to digest, and especially suitable for people over 60. That is chicken breast or skinless turkey breast, a food that seems simple but is one of the most ideal choices for an aging body. According to the American Heart Association, skinless chicken breast is a high-quality, lean protein source that doesn't come with saturated fat and doesn't contain harmful additives if prepared at home. With just 100 grams of lean meat, the body can receive 25 to 30 grams of high biological value protein, enough to maintain and repair muscle mass after light exercise or morning walks. More importantly, the protein from chicken breast is digested and absorbed more gently than that from fatty red meat or crispy fried meat. It doesn't cause bloating, doesn't lead to difficulty sleeping after eating, and hardly causes the body to react if consumed correctly. For older adults, this is a huge plus. One more important benefit: chicken breast contains almost no saturated fat if the skin is removed before cooking. Unlike processed meats or fatty red meats, lean poultry does not raise LDL cholesterol, thereby helping to protect the heart and blood vessels and better control blood pressure. And when you combine chicken breast with green vegetables, whole grains, or soft tofu, you not only have a light meal, but you are also providing your body with an extremely ideal nutritional matrix to keep your muscles strong over the years. Another big plus of poultry is its versatility in cooking. From boiling and steaming to low-temperature oven roasting or oil-free pan frying, chicken breast always retains its tenderness, doesn't dry out, and is very easy to combine with familiar dishes. Chopping it up and mixing it with oatmeal, shredding it for soup, or simply eating it with vegetable broth all help you eat well, chew easily, feel light, and still get enough nutrients. And if there is one most important piece of advice from geriatric nutrition experts, it is this: don't try to eat a lot of protein in a single meal. Older people's bodies no longer absorb nutrients as they did in their 30s and 40s. Instead, spread your lean protein intake, about 20 to 30 grams, evenly over 3 main meals each day. This small portioning helps the body absorb everything completely, avoids waste, and regularly activates the mechanism for muscle tissue regeneration throughout the day, which is extremely important for preventing muscle loss, weak legs, imbalance, and falls. Poultry isn't fancy or expensive, but for older adults, it's a reliable companion, gentle yet effective, quiet yet steadfast. It keeps legs able to stand up without assistance, keeps arms strong enough to lift a teacup and tend to plants. And if you're wondering, is there any meat even better than that? The answer is yes, a type of meat that not only nourishes muscles, but also sharpens the mind, stabilizes mood, and even improves sleep. A food that tops the gold standard, worthy of being the #1 choice for your golden years. If there is one type of meat that nutrition experts, cardiologists, and even aging researchers all agree is soft gold in the diet of people over 60, it is fatty fish. No fuss, no frills, just a piece of perfectly baked salmon, a tender braised mackerel, or a can of sardines eaten with green vegetables. But within that simplicity lies a whole system of valuable nutrients, unmatched by any other meat on all three fronts: muscles, memory, cardiovascular health. Fatty fish, like salmon, mackerel, and sardines, carry a source of easily digestible protein, gentle on the liver, yet rich in muscle-regenerating energy. With just 100 grams of fish, you receive 20 to 25 grams of complete protein, enough to maintain lean muscle mass, the very thing that helps you stand firm, maintain balance, and be active in every step. But that's only part of it. What makes fatty fish so special lies in two compounds, EPA and DHA, two forms of omega-3 that the body doesn't produce on its own, but are extremely necessary, especially as age slows down all recovery processes. EPA helps fight inflammation in muscle tissue and joints, reducing the feeling of prolonged pain, stiffness, or fatigue. DHA protects the nervous system, supports memory, and reduces the risk of cognitive decline, a common concern when entering the age of 65. There's an interesting fact that few people know. Omega-3s also help unlock the effectiveness of protein. That is, when there is enough EPA and DHA in the blood, muscles will absorb and use protein from meals much better. In other words, eating protein with omega-3s makes muscles eat more effectively. That explains why, on the same diet, people who regularly eat fatty fish have more stable muscle mass, faster recovery, and a lower risk of falls compared to those who only eat red meat or chicken without supplementing with omega-3s. So what is the appropriate way to eat it? Not too much is needed. Just 2 to 3 meals of fatty fish per week, about 80 to 100 grams per meal, is enough to make a noticeable difference after a few months. Prioritize light cooking methods: steaming, braising, light grilling, or simply canned sardines without salt eaten with salad. The important thing is to avoid deep frying, as high temperatures can destroy most of the valuable omega-3s. For older adults, fatty fish is not just an easily digestible white meat, but a natural anti-inflammatory medicine, enhancing nerve function and supporting deep sleep. It doesn't cause bloating, doesn't raise bad cholesterol, doesn't have harmful additives if you choose the right source, and especially it can help you maintain strong legs, a sharp mind, and truly peaceful sleep. That's why Harvard Health, Mayo Clinic, and the American Heart Association all rank fatty fish as the most ideal protein source for older adults. You see, not all meats are the same. Some make the body sluggish, tire the heart, and cause muscles to gradually disappear over the months and years. But there are also those, gentle yet profound, that help the body rebuild itself every day, help legs step more firmly, the mind stay sharper, and make life in old age more active and free than ever before. We have just taken a small but important journey together to look back more clearly. Not all meats are the same. Some make the body heavy and sluggish, causing muscles to disappear without you even realizing it. But there are also those that are silent friends, helping legs stay steady, memory stay sharp, and life in old age become easier. First, we exposed 3 types of meat that older adults should avoid, confirmed by reputable health organizations such as the World Health Organization, Harvard Health, and the American Heart Association. At the mildest but still concerning level are fried meats and fast food, with very high levels of oil, salt, and fast-digesting carbohydrates, causing low-grade inflammation in the body, disrupting metabolism, and reducing the effectiveness of muscle recovery after each exercise. More serious are the fatty cuts of red meat, rich in saturated fat, such as ribeye, lamb chops, or beef belly, tempting dishes that increase bad cholesterol, create harmful compounds when grilled thoroughly, and more importantly, reduce the ability to synthesize new protein for muscle tissue. And topping the list of what to avoid, we cannot fail to mention processed meats such as sausages, cured sausages, and bacon. These contain high levels of nitrites and sodium, which can produce carcinogenic compounds and increase pressure on the heart, kidneys, and the motor nervous system. But it doesn't stop at warnings. We also move on to the more important part, 3 types of meat to prioritize, ranked by increasing effectiveness in maintaining and restoring muscle for older adults. In third place is lean red meat chosen correctly, such as sirloin, tenderloin, rump, and shoulder. When cooked lightly without too much fat, this is a source of B12, iron, and leucine, essential for preventing anemia and supporting the rebuilding of lost muscle mass. Next is skinless poultry, such as chicken and turkey breast, which is light, easy to digest, and low in saturated fat. For people with sensitive digestive systems or those needing to control blood pressure, this is a safe and nutritious choice for every meal. And at the top, none other than fatty fish, such as salmon, mackerel, and sardines, a type of meat that not only provides easily absorbed protein, but also contains EPA and DHA, 2 powerful anti-inflammatory compounds that help increase the efficiency of muscle synthesis while protecting memory and the circulatory system. Finally, there is one thing I want to emphasize. Don't eliminate meat, just change the meat. You don't need to follow strict diets or switch to extreme eating habits. Just choose the right type of meat, cook it more gently, and spread your protein intake throughout the day, about 20 to 30 grams per meal, instead of concentrating it in one large meal. Combine it with more green vegetables, whole grains, plant-based protein, and friendly cooking methods such as steaming, boiling, and low-temperature oven roasting. You are creating a solid foundation to protect your muscles, improve endurance, and maintain the most precious independence of old age. What do you think about the 6 types of meat today? What surprised you the most? Did you always think red meat was harmful without realizing that fatty fish is the best friend for your heart, muscles, and memory? If you have any thoughts or are eating in a certain way, please share in the comments below. I always read and appreciate every comment you share, because each real story can be a helpful reminder for others. And if this video gave you some new insights, please send it to your spouse or an older relative who might be unknowingly eating the wrong kind of meat. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel so you don't miss the next videos, because every week we will be back to help you understand your body better and live healthier every day.